Hi everyone, my name is John and this is Power Yoga. It's a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. Thanks for joining me. So our class today is called Lots of Legs. And yes, you can guess, we're doing lots of legs. So what does that mean? So lots of legs for me means we're going to be doing a lot of hamstring work. There's a little bit of balance, but mostly hamstring work. So let's get our legs a little longer and stronger. So for our prompts today, I'm going to suggest you have a couple of yoga blocks, which I've got here. That's going to help. And for sure, if you happen to have it, a yoga strap, or if you don't have a yoga strap, a jump rope, a belt, something that's long like this. Because that's going to help with some of our hamstring stretches. And you don't necessarily have to have one, but a prompt like this really does come in handy. All right, so this is a dynamic vinyasa flow, and so when I put that out there for you, it also means that you don't have to do exactly what I do, you don't have to do everything that I do. Just pay attention to what your body is telling you, modify, and even rest whenever you need to during your practice. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start in mountain pose. So I invite you to stand nice and tall near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart and your toes pointing directly forward. Now you can do this for the duration of our standing position here in mountain pose, but you can always change this posturing if you need to. And that might mean just stepping the feet out a little wider if you'd like, even turning the feet outward a little bit like this. Just as long as you feel like you're balanced on 2 feet, you haven't shifted your weight to one foot or the other, but there's a sense of centering right here. And if your feet happen to be hip distance with the toes forward like this, it also creates a nice alignment through the body, especially through the hips, right down to the feet. So let's just hold here for a few more moments and take the time to tune into breath. You might start with a few deep breaths. Nice full and complete inhale. And you can exhale through your mouth with a nice soft sigh. Let's do that again. A nice full inhale. Fill yourself completely. And exhale completely. Good. You can do that one more time if you'd like on your own. Then just settle into the body. Settle into the slow steadiness of the breath. Now you're welcome just to hold here in stillness if you'd like. But also feel like this is an opportunity to just move a little bit, check in with your body. I'm just doing some slow circles in the shoulders, a couple times backward, and then forward. Even just down the body, check in with your joints, your elbows, your wrists and fingers, even a little movement of your hips, knees, feet, and ankles. Just a little body scan from head to foot. And then you can just return to standing. Slow, steady breaths. I invite you to breathe in a way where you can feel your breath. Feel how the body is responding to your breath. So as you inhale, for example, you'll feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. Very expansive feeling there. And then as you exhale, as you're able, draw your navel inward towards your spine. A light contraction of the abdominal muscles, and we call that the abdominal lock. It's just going to help with some movement, balance, those kinds of things. Also just really strengthens the body. Again, a nice inhale, lifting and lengthening through the spine, so you want to feel tall here. Expanding in the lungs, and with the exhale, draw your belly in, nice connection to your center body. And along with that connection, breathe in a way where you can hear your breath. So if the volume of the breath is turned down, just going to turn that volume up. Listen to the breath. Feel your breath. Wonderful way to be fully present, connected, and aware. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Using these breaths now to prepare your body to move. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and up. A nice reaching and stretch sensation up towards the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive forward. So a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down towards your toes. Now you might not make it all the way to your toes, so I might call this a partial fold. Or if it feels okay, hang heavily forward here for a moment. Then inhale and slide your hands up to your shins or knees and extend your spine so your back is flat, long like a tabletop here. Let's just hold this position. Make sure your feet feel rooted strongly into the floor, just like you were standing in mountain pose. You can keep a slight bend in the knees here, but just feel that horizontal line you've created with the upper body. You might even feel a natural engagement in the hamstrings, really just kind of introducing some of the work that we'll be doing with our legs. We're going to stand up all the way, so start shifting your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees like you're about to sit down into a low chair. Look forward, and take your arms out to the side and you'll stand up all the way. Reach into the air for a nice big stretch. Then exhale, you can bring your arms down to your side, finishing that flow. Take a breath here. So we're going to repeat that sequence. This is our half salute to the sun. So we've already introduced the body to breath. Now we're introducing movement. Here we go. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Feel that lengthening through the sides of your body. Reach like you're going to touch the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive forward. Good hinge from hips. Bend your knees. Make your way down. Maybe touching your toes. A complete release here at the end. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. This halfway lift. On this exhale, we're going to fold. So make your way back down towards toes. Let's hold here. And notice the shift, the change, how it feels a little bit different through the body since we're all the way down. I also invite you to relax your head. You might nod yes a few times, shake your head no. Release the shoulders. Some of the work we're going to do is actually going to involve our shoulders. So you might want to circle your arms like you're stirring a big pot of soup like this. And then the other circling of the shoulders getting into the joints. Notice the hamstrings, the low glutes here, even down through the calves. All right, now shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees like you're going to sit, lifting your heart, spread your wings and float all the way back up to a standing position. Reaching right up to the sky. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side. Very nice. Let's just hold here for a moment. Nice complete breath in and out. So that's our half salute to the sun. We're just going to continue with our sun salutation. So we'll just bring some warmth and movement to the body. Here we go. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, let's fold forward, leading with your heart, soft knees, guide your way down. Take your time. Then inhale, rise up halfway, forming that nice long tabletop. This exhale, we're going to fold and bend, make your way all the way down until you can place your hands on your mat. You can just step the feet back, walk, or even hop the feet back until you're in plank pose. Just be sure to draw that straight line in the body like this. Feel the energy through the body. Very strong. We're going to breathe in. And this exhale, we're going to bend the knees a little, then send your hips right up into the air. I call this a shortcut to downward facing dog. Now you might need to adjust the feet by tiptoeing forward a little bit. I even take my feet just slightly wider and I adjust my hands. I'm taking them a little bit wider, so I have a little bit more space in my shoulders. As you're able, just sink the chest down between the arms as it feels good. Make sure the hands are pressing firmly into the mat, so you have strong straight arms to support you. Since we're doing legs, let's get into the calves here by doing what I call walk the dog. Press one heel down towards the mat while the other heel lifts. When the heel presses downward, you might feel that in the calf. When the heel lifts, you're going to feel that in the toes perhaps, even in the soles of the feet. So a little pedaling, walk the dog, let the knees bend, let your hips shift side to side. Do that one more time on each foot. Return to stillness, and let's get ready to move. Breathe in, then exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of the mat to your forward fold. Inhale, let's rise up halfway. Exhale, fold again, back down towards toes. Oh, wait, shift here into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reaching into the sky, but we're going to keep moving. On the exhale, sit back into chair pose. Imagine you are sitting down into a seat that's behind you. There's a weight shift into the hips and heels. Angled upper body with the arms extended. Let's breathe in, then exhale, dive out of your seat, down toward your toes, forward fold. Let's continue. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way down, hands to the floor. Hop or step back into plank pose. Draw the straight line. Now, you're very welcome to do that same shortcut into downward facing dog. You can do that here or any time in our vinyasa practice. Or follow me here. We're going to inhale and exhale. Finish the push-up. Bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs as you lower your body down towards the floor. Inhale, press into the floor with the hands to straighten the arms, lifting the chest and hips. Send your heart forward, look forward for upward facing dog. Then with the exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees, then your hips up into the air, arriving in downward facing dog. Make any adjustments as you need to. Now inhale and extend your right leg up behind you. Nice extension. Let's hold this here. Really reach. Keep those hands rooting strongly into the floor. Let's do something while we're here. Now your left heel may naturally be lifted. That's fine. But as you're able, press that left heel towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch the floor, but just notice the stretch sensation. And then rise back up so the heel feels high and also lifts you a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, let's step the right foot to the top of the mat, landing near the right hand. Turn your left heel to the floor and then shift your whole body back so you have more pressure and weight in that back foot. We're going to rise up to fingertips to help extend the torso, so it's long out over the thigh here. Then an inhale to rise up into Warrior One. Let's just hold here for a moment. Nice extension upward with the arms. Nice lunging in the legs. Noticing some more perhaps in the left hip flexor here. Let's continue, breathing in. Exhale, hinge and fold. Make your way back down to the floor. Let's step back into plank pose. As you'd like, finish the push-up. Now you can bring your knees to the floor first like this, then your chest if you need to. You can modify. Your back bend, instead of up dog, you might take cobra or locust pose right here. Then exhale, we'll all arrive into downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. So we're going to inhale, extend the left leg into the air. Hold here, make sure you're still breathing and feel like you're getting longer. Strong hands, strong arms. We're pressing that right heel towards the floor, just to feel that elongation through the calf muscle especially. And then rise up onto the toes so the heel is lifted, lifting the body a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, let's step the left foot to the top of the mat. Turn that right heel to the floor, shifting your whole body weight back so you feel balanced on 2 feet in this lunge. Elongate through your torso, out over the left thigh. Now we're ready to rise. Inhale, rise up, reach up for Warrior One. We're going to hold. Exhaling into the lunge. Maybe take another breath or two here. Let's take a breath in, ready to move. Exhale, hinge and fold. Make your way back down to the floor. Let's slide the left foot back into plank pose. Complete the series as you'd like. Bend the elbows, come on down if you'd like. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's just hold for a couple breaths right here. Let's make our way down to the floor. First, just follow me. Bring your knees to the floor and sit back into hero pose. We're going to hold here for just a moment because part of our practice is going to involve hero pose. So here we're getting a little stretch through the knees, nice lengthening through the shins here, but especially kind of this lengthening stretch quality in the tops of the feet. Alrighty? Let's go ahead and sit off to the side so we can free up the feet and swing them around to the front. We're going to stay seated here and take our next forward fold. Now we've already done a forward fold, a standing forward fold, getting into those hamstrings a little bit, even some of that working in the downward facing dog. Let's do our seated forward fold. You're welcome to use your strap if you happen to have one. Let's start with staff pose. So staff pose, you're just sitting up nice and tall with straight legs. Flex your feet here to energize the legs. Legs straight as can be as you're able. Hands on the floor by your hips. push into the floor with the hands to help extend and lift up through the torso. If your shoulders happen to be dipped forward like this, we want to roll the shoulders back. And as you're able, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you to engage your upper back muscles. We're breathing, of course, so an inhale, even feeling like the breath is going down the legs and up the torso, and the exhale to draw belly in, securing the posture. Staff pose. 2 more breaths. Good, you can just soften here. We're going to take a forward fold. I'm just going to go ahead and use the strap, but again, you don't have to use a strap. So if you are using a strap, you're going to go ahead and wrap it around the soles of the feet. Just going to hold on to the ends here. Even use the strap to help you sit up nice and tall, like this. So we have an inhale, feel that lengthening through the body. Exhale, pull belly in, but also a little tug of the strap so you can start to hinge forward, leading with your heart and chin out towards your toes. Now, even for me right here, I can feel this. I feel this in my legs. I even feel it in my spine. You can stay just like this. As long as you feel it, it doesn't feel forced. Now, some other things you can do. Okay, let's say you don't have a strap. Maybe your hands are out on your shins. Maybe you can even reach your toes. If you can't reach your toes but would like to reach your toes, maybe just put a bend in the knees. And you can also put a curvature in the spine. Just lower your chin and fold. That might allow you to reach the feet. And we are going to hold here for several breaths. Several deep breaths. Just to allow the nice extension quality in the legs. And if your back happens to be rounded here, a little stretch quality in your back body too. So deep breaths. Two more breaths now. If you are just holding on to your feet or your shins, just let go, free up the hands. This is if you're not using a strap. Just inhale and rise up, maybe reaching both arms up into the air. And exhale, bring your arms down to your side. Or once you've made your way back up and you're using the strap, we're finished with that. So we can set the strap to the side. We're going to get that stretch out of the legs by coming to cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. So bring the soles of the feet together here, holding onto the shins or ankles or even your toes. We're going to inhale, nice extension of spine. We're going to exhale and fold forward a little bit. Now this is targeting the legs in a different way. Okay, we're getting into the inner legs, inner thighs, the hips. Same thing, you can maintain a lengthened spine in this posture or lower your chin, let the back round and fold. We're not going to hold here too long. Just getting that stretch quality out of the legs and a different sensation for the legs and your back. 2 more breaths. If your back is rounded, in order to re-extend it, maybe lifting the chin. That will help with that first part of the extension of the spine, then hinge your way back up to a nice tall seat. All right, let's extend the legs out front. Just be sure you're sitting in the center of your mat next here. We're going to roll down onto the back. As you roll down, feel free to bring your knees into chest. Add some movement here just to massage the low back. Take some deep breaths. Just get reacquainted with your breathing. And since the feet are free here, maybe a little circle in the ankles, wiggle your toes, flex the feet and point your toes. We're moving into bridge pose. You're going to set your feet onto the floor. You can even take the feet wider than your hips. That's perfect for this posture. Now inhale and fill up your lungs, getting ready to move. Exhale, engage your belly, empty the belly, and then lift your hips up off the floor. Once you've lifted, you can stay just like this. I'm going to give you some variations of the posture. One variation, if your blocks happen to be nearby, you can actually slide the blocks underneath you and sit on your blocks. I call this a supported bridge. It just takes some of the engagement out of the posture. If you're not using the blocks and you just want to lift, that's good. But you may want to
rock your upper body left and right several times to get your arms and shoulders underneath you. Just remind yourself how it felt when you were sitting in staff pose. When your hands are on the floor by your hips, you are rolling the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. This is similar, getting these shoulders underneath you, and as best as you can, even engaging towards your center line. All right, just a few more breaths. Just opening the front part of the body, but you might even feel this in the hip flexors, upper thighs as well. All right, to make space to get out of the pose, we have no pinching in the low back. Wiggle your toes forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air to release the shoulders out from underneath you, and then roll your way down to the floor. Then you can extend your legs up front, reach your arms behind you for a little stretch. We're going to do another little leg extension since we're still on the floor here. You can use a strap or not. I'm not going to use the strap because I can't find it. It's not near me, so I'm just going to do this freely. So follow me. We're going to keep the left leg on the floor, draw the right knee into chest, and then extend the right leg into the air. Perfectly fine if the knee needs to stay bent. Just hold on to the leg with one or two hands. If you can extend the leg completely, that's fine. What you may want to do to help this extension, even if the knee is bent, flex the foot. Feel like your heel of the foot is reaching, trying to touch the ceiling. That'll energize the leg, get some nice length. Here's a little extra, even draw the leg towards yourself. If you've got a strap around the sole of the foot, you can even just lightly pull. All right, not too long here. Let's bend the knee, set the foot down, and extend the leg out onto the floor. Even hold here for a quick realignment. Same thing other side. Let's bend the left knee, hug the knee into chest, and then we'll extend the leg. Again, the knee can stay bent here. Just hold on to it with the hands. Flex the foot lightly and feel like the heel is reaching for the ceiling. No worries if the leg is down here. Okay, it doesn't have to be perpendicular to the floor. That's a hip thing, and if the hips aren't that flexible to get to this point, that's okay. And don't force it to get there if it's not going to go there. Even here is fine with the bent knee. 2 more breaths. And then when we're ready, we'll bend the knees. We can bring the foot back down to the floor. Let's just do one more whole body extension, legs out front, arms behind you for that realignment. Let's continue our flow. Let's draw the knees into chest. Rock forward and back several times. Use a good exhale to rock your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. We want to ensure that the spine is straight. You're going to lean back at an angle. You can do boat pose with the heels on the floor, but if you lean back a little bit more or just step the heels towards yourself, the feet will become light and they can just float into the air. I try to do boat with the shins parallel to the floor, nice flexed feet. I typically hold on to the legs initially to get into the pose. Sometimes I stay like this for the whole duration. You can also release and free up the hands. You can even extend the legs. Point your toes. Lots of variations. Let's move from here. Breathe in and exhale. Cross legs, hands in front. And if you like, hop or step back into plank pose. We're going to take a shortcut to downward facing dog. So just bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, make some adjustments as you need to. Continuing with our lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. We're going to open this up. You're going to bend your knee. Bring your heel down towards your backside, lifting the knee up towards the ceiling with a little twist and turn towards the right side of the room. It opens the hips. Breathe in and exhale to unwind it and step the right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel to the floor, shifting weight back, ready for Warrior One. Inhale to rise. This exhale, we're opening up to the left side of the room, dropping arms to parallel, Warrior Two. Adjusting the feet as you need to. Hold for a moment to arrive in the posture. Take a breath. And then side angle pose. We're reaching forward, following the right arm forward. Rotate the arms here so your right hand's reaching down, left hand's reaching up into the air. If there's a little bit more distance between the feet, which I'm going to do right now, just taking the wider stance, you might be able to lunge a little deeper, just creating more sensation in the legs. Remember, doing lots of leg work, and this is part of it. All right, take a breath in Exhale, we'll turn, fold. Bring your hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Another shortcut to downward facing dog this time. Then other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Let's open this up. Bend the knee, lift the knee with a little twist, opening to the left side of the room. The twist is happening in the spine, of course, but we get a hip opener. Let's breathe in. Exhale, unwind, step through, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel to the floor, planted, find that balance. Rise up, warrior one. Exhale, opening to the right side of the room for warrior two. Make some adjustments with the feet if you need to, even a wider stance. Find in that great alignment here, making sure the left knee is bent and the knee and toes are pointing directly forward. Side angle pose. Reach forward, then rotate the arms. I typically stay up higher in this posture. Of course, you're certainly welcome to go lower. This left hand can actually touch the floor. But I typically stay up higher. That's for me. I have to be very mindful and careful with my hips and my back. A couple more breaths. Feeling the legs at work here, getting strong. Here we go, breathe in. And exhale, turn and fold, hands to the floor, back to our plank pose. Come on down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. So, with our three-legged dog, I call it, with the right leg or left leg in the air, we opened up the hip. And then we got into warrior two, which also opens the hip. Let's do more hip work. Follow me. We're going to inhale. When we exhale, we're going to hop both feet forward to the top of the mat. Land with your feet wide, toes turned out, knees bent, drop the hips. Okay? This is what it looks like if I'm facing you. Almost like a frog. You jumped forward, landing with the feet wide, toes turned out, knees bent, and you sit. We're just going to call this a yogi squat. Okay? Really getting into those inner legs. Now, if you can see me, you can notice my back looks curved, it's rounded. We can adjust that. Use your arms. You're going to brace your arms on the inner legs, and if you push into the legs, push them outward, you're going to, one, engage the legs, but it'll give you some leverage to help you extend the spine. And you can even bring your hands to your heart here. Well, this is our yogi squat. We're doing this on purpose because it's going to show up in another part of our practice. All right, we're going to bring the hands to the floor, kind of lean into your hands. We're going to lift the hips. Now the feet are wide, so just heel toe the feet together so they're underneath you. You'll be in a forward fold. Let's take monkey pose or that halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive and come all the way up, nice and tall, reaching into the air. Exhale, bring your arms down to your side. Well done. Alrighty, now I mentioned earlier that part of our work is going to involve our shoulders. So let's do something here. So while standing in mountain pose, you're going to inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, bring your arms down, and as you bring them down, reach behind you, like you're reaching for the back corners of your mat. Very active arms. Spread out your fingers. Even feel like you're holding onto something between your hands. And if you're able, interlace your fingers here behind you. And if that's the case, send your knuckles down towards your feet. It'll start to straighten the arms a little bit, and then we're going to roll the shoulders back. Here's that action of squeezing the shoulder blades together again. A nice opening up to the heart space. Be sure your neck feels long. There's a lot of mobility there. And then we'll just bend the knees, let them jet forward a little bit and tip over like this, and you'll be in a chair-like position. Your hands can touch your bum, but you can lift the hands if you're able, away from your back, reaching for the back edge of your mat. Keep the neck neutral or just in the same alignment as your spine. Some deep breaths here to get into that heart space, fill up your lungs. We're going to flow from here. So we're going to rise up, release your fingers. Inhale, take the arms up into the air, and let's continue the flow. Exhale, swan dive forward. Down towards toes. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the floor, hop or step back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We have another lunge sequence here, follow me. Inhale, extend right leg up, keep it straight. And then as you exhale, step right foot to the top of the mat, stay here in this runner's lunge. Keep that left heel lifted, but do shift the weight back towards that lifted heel. So again, there's balance between the feet. You're going to squeeze to midline, meaning feel like you're holding onto something between the knees or legs to engage the legs so you can rise up to high lunge right here, or crescent lunge. Just like that. Remember, the left heel is lifted as best as you can. Hold here for a moment. We're going to do a little bit more leg work. And part of the leg work is actually here in the left hip flexor. Let's do more. We're going to rise up, straightening the legs as best as you can. Pivot the left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways. Drop your arms to parallel. Both legs are still straight here. Now we're ready for triangle pose. So we're going to reach forward out over that straight right leg, rotate, and there's triangle. So we're getting into that hamstring once again. And what you may want to do, just to help stabilize the hip, okay, on this right side here, is either lift the toes. In addition to that, press firmly into the floor with the heel of your foot, the heel, even the balls of the foot. It will fire up the leg, helps to stabilize the pelvis. All right, we're going to rise up just a little bit, just to create a little space, but you're going to turn your whole torso so it's facing forward, but then fold out over this right leg, and then you're going to take your arms behind you. We're going to call this pyramid pose. Just a different sensation, of course. Notice how this changes. It's very subtle, perhaps, in this front leg. We're still getting a nice hamstring stretch. To come out of the pose, you're going to bend the right knee, a nice lunge for leverage. Sweep the arms forward, rise up. You'll be in Warrior One. Exhale again, opening to Warrior Two. We're going to re-straighten the right leg. This time we're going to turn the right foot so all 10 toes are facing the same direction. At the moment my feet are slightly staggered, so just if that's the case for you, just adjust the feet so they're nicely aligned underneath you. Bring your arms out to the side just like this. I call this a star shape. You're going to inhale, reach out with the arms. Feel tall and lengthened through the spine. As you exhale, draw your belly in, bend your knees slightly, and then we're going to fold. You're going to come down until your fingertips touch the floor. Inhale, rise up to fingertips to extend the spine like you're coming forward, like a halfway lift, like monkey pose. Then exhale, fold again. So more leg work in this particular forward fold. This really targets pretty much all parts of the legs, which is nice. The inside of the legs, the outer legs, and the backs of the legs. Alrighty. We'll be doing this quite a bit. So some deep breaths here. Alright, now follow me. Just soften the body a little bit. I'm just bending the knees, kind of melting, sinking a little bit. Then walk both hands over towards your right foot, and then turn the right foot forward so it's facing forward. You're going to rise up on your tiptoes behind you. So we've returned to this runner's lunge. But from here, you're going to set your left knee onto the floor. You can even pat it if you need to, a towel, or even fold your mat underneath you. From here, we're going to sit back. I'm going to call this half hero with the leg extension. Remember when we did hero pose? Here's the hero part, and here's the leg extension part. Now, you can just be propped up on your hands here, but if you have a block nearby, you can actually place a block underneath that right cheek, just for a little stabilization. Now, we're not going to hold here too long, because this might not feel all that great in your left leg. And if you're able, you can even fold forward to get more into that right leg. So a lot of right leg work, since we're working the right side. Okay, of course, we'll be doing the whole other side. Couple more breaths here. I'm going to come off that block, using hands to help lift to this left knee and right foot. Hands on the floor out front. Tuck the toes underneath me behind, lifting that left knee. Slide the right foot back. We're We're back in plank pose. Finish. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. So we're going to do that same sequence on the other side. More lunging. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Keep it straight. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel to the floor. Rising up. Actually, we're keeping the right heel lifted. Sorry about that. We're rising up to our high lunge. Holding for a moment, feeling the right hip flexor. We're going to rise up, straighten the legs as best as you can. Pivot right heel to the floor, turning sideways. Arms come down to parallel. Make sure the legs are still straight. Now we're ready for triangle pose. Reaching out over that left leg. Let's rotate here. Remember, just to help stabilize this left side, maybe lift the toes, drive the left heel into the floor as well as the balls of the foot. Feel how the leg fires up, feeling a little stronger, a little bit more supported in the pelvis. Okay, now when I do this, I notice that this stretch or the sensation is kind of higher up in the hamstring. But as we get into pyramid pose, let's see if that changes. So I'm lifting up a little bit so I can have mobility to turn towards the left leg. Fold forward out over that left leg with the arms reaching back. Pyramid. Yeah, I do feel a shift. I do feel a change. It's not so much in the upper hamstring, but more in the meaty part of the bicep, okay? Part of that hamstring area. Feels really good. Nice stretch here. Now to come out of the posture, you're going to bend the left knee, nice lunge for leverage. Sweep the arms forward, rising up. Back to a warrior one. Exhale, opening to warrior two. Re-straighten the left leg. Turn the toes so it's facing the same direction as the right foot. Check underneath you. Be sure your feet are aligned here. Create your star shape. Inhale, reach out, get tall. Exhale, pull belly in, bend your knees, and fold. Make your way back down. That's it. Now we've already been here, so the body might be somewhat used to it. You can even change this a little bit. I'm taking the feet out a little wider. Let's not forget to rise up onto the fingertips to help extend the spine one last time. And exhale, refold. Be sure to keep a softness in the knees. Check in to see if you've locked out the knees here. If they're locked, soften the knees. We don't want to rest in the joints. We want to make sure the muscles are engaging to help part of that support. And we're coming out of it, so soften the body. Start walking your hands over towards your left foot. Spin the toes so they're facing forward. Rise up on the tiptoes behind you. Here's our runner's lunge. We're setting the right knee down. We're going to sit back to our half hero with the leg extension. So the half hero or the hero pose is on the right leg. Left leg, of course, is extended. Perhaps use a block underneath the left cheek. Fold forward if you like, just to create a bit more sensation in the hamstrings. Two more breaths. And then we'll move that block out of the way. We're rising back up. Use your hands to manipulate the body. So we're coming back to the right knee and left foot. Hands out front. Tuck your toes underneath you, behind you, lifting the knee. There's the runner's lunge. Plant the hands. Slide the left foot back. Plank pose. And then finish the sequence. Chaturanga to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, I'm going to invite you to take another seat. Bring your knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. Sit off to the side. And sit in cobbler's pose. And just watch me for a moment, because I'm going to show you something, okay? As one of our transitions. All righty, stay where you are. You can just rest. Now eventually we're going to make our way into triangle,
and then pyramid, like this. Now we're going to transition into that wide-legged forward fold from here. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to bend this right knee, and with the arms, just come up and around, facing, in this case, left side of the room. Spin the toes in that same direction, so we end up in our star shape here. Okay? So that's how we'll get to this posture. Kind of a sweeping, lifting sensation, and a turn to open up to the side of the room. And then we'll continue with our forward folds. Alrighty? Alright, since you're in cobbler's pose, let me just join you there. Just adjusting my mat. Now let's come out of our cobbler's pose or bound angle pose and come back to boat pose. Here we go. Nice lengthened spine, active feet, engaged breath. Inhale, lifting, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, engaging the core center. A couple more breaths. Breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, straight line. Shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, send your hips into the air. We're going back to that yogi squat because we're going to add a piece. Breathe in. Exhale, hop or step forward. As you're going to hop forward, landing with the feet wide, toes turned out, knees bent. Sit down, yogi squat. Arms brace on the inner legs, lengthen torso, hands to heart. Couple breaths. Go ahead and bring your hands to the floor, lean into the hands, lifting the hips, heel toe your feet to center. You'll be in forward fold. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold again. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reach high. On the exhale, bring your arms down and behind you as you're able, maybe interlacing your fingers like we did earlier. Root towards the floor with the knuckles, roll the shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Bend the knees a little so you can sit back into a chair-like position. Maybe lifting the hands away from the body. One more breath. And ready to move. We're going to inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, fold, hands to the floor, hop or step back, plank pose. Come on down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Follow me. Inhale, extend your right leg into the air. Bend and twist open. Unwind it, step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel to the floor behind you. I just call this a basic flow. Kind of going back to the beginnings. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening. Warrior 2. Right away, side angle. Basic movements here. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, turn, fold, hands to the floor. But you're going to sweep the right foot back and up into the air until you're in down dog, right leg into the air. With an exhale, return the right foot to the top of the mat for high lunge. Find your center, then rise up. Once we're tall here with the arms in the air, shoot up to straighten the legs. Pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways, arms come down to parallel. We're ready for triangle. Reach out over the right leg, rotate here, triangle, getting that nice straight leg. Here comes pyramid. I'm going to lift a little bit, space in the belt line, so you can turn, fold, arms sweep back behind you. Okay, so this is that new transition. Okay, are you ready? We're going to bend the right knee, sweep the arms up, open, straighten the legs, spin the toes forward, adjust the feet if you need to, so you're in your star shape. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, belly in, bend knees, and fold. Inhale, re-extend the spine. Exhale, fold again. All right, now we've been here before, but we're going to do it again, okay? Pay attention. After a few breaths here, we're going to rise back up to fingertips, hold here. Feel the body weight shift back into the heels,
Bend your knees, let your hips drop like you're going to sit, like a squat. Another squat, but just higher up. That should free up the hands so you can extend your arms out to the side. Hold here. That too should get into your legs. From here, we're going to rise all the way back up. We're going to inhale, follow me. We're going to exhale and bring your hands to your hips. Hold here for a moment. Now, we're going to do another forward fold, another wide-legged forward fold. Just to let you know, we're going to be doing this 4 times. 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. What we're doing is, it's called wide-legged forward fold, and there's 4 versions of it. Alrighty? So this is the second version. The first version was just bringing the fingertips to the floor. This is the second version where your hands stay on your hips. Here we go. Use your hands and push your pelvis down as you feel like you're lifting up through the torso. We're just making a little bit more space in the belt line. Inhale, you might even tip the chin up, open your heart. Exhale, pull belly in, more softness in the knees, and fold. See if you can keep a straight spine, folding. You might go past parallel. See if you keep the spine straight. Now with the hands on hips, they're still on your hips. Feel like you're sending your pelvis towards the back of the room. One more breath. Now we're going to add something here. This is going to mimic those yogi squats. Release your hips, bring your hands to the floor. Soften. What you're going to do here is look at your left foot. You're going to turn those toes outward. Lunge or shift weight into the left foot. Bend this left knee into the squat. We're extending the right leg. I'm bringing my right hand behind the leg so I have a little bit more balance here. I'm getting an extension. Now, if you don't make it down all the way, don't worry. And if this left heel is lifted, that's okay too, because you're doing it. You're getting the deep lunge, okay, that squat-like effect with that extension. All right, to get out of the pose, we have to lift. I'm staying low to the ground. Okay, shifting forward, meaning the toes to face forward. Left heel's lifted, back to that runner's lunge. Set the left knee onto the floor. We're sitting back to the half hero leg extension. So we're still stretching out that leg. Told you, lots of legs. Fold forward. I can really feel the flexibility coming now with all these leg extensions. All right, ready to come back up to knee and foot, hands out front, tuck toes. Hands in front, lifted knee, runner's lunge, slide the right foot back. That's the end of the sequence. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ready for the other side. Basic flow. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Bend your knee, heel towards backside. Lift the knee for a little twist and hip opener. Unwind. Send left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel to the floor. Balance. Inhale, rise, first warrior. Exhale, open, second warrior. Right away, side angle pose, rotate. Stay up high or go down low, whatever feels good here. Breathe in, we're still in motion. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Take it back to down dog. Sweep the left foot back and up into the air, straight line. Return left foot to the top of the mat for high lunge. Right heel stays lifted, find that center. Once you've got center, hands are light, you can rise up. Arms into the air. Once they're up, shoot up to straighten the legs. Pivot right heel to the floor, drop arms to parallel. Ready for triangle. Straight legs, reach out over that straight leg, tip it over. Ready for pyramid. Lifting a little, turn, fold, arms out behind you. Notice the change. Maybe you're going a little deeper. Here comes that big windmill circle effect with the arms. To get to our star shape. Bend the left knee, big circle with the arms, rise up, face the right side of the room. Turn the left foot so it's also facing the right side of the room. Get the feet aligned. Here's star shape. Now we're getting ready for the third version of our wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, bring the arms down behind you. Interlace your fingers. This look familiar? Root the knuckles down towards the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, tip chin up. Open the heart. Exhale, with soft knees, fold forward. There we are. Maybe you can see my hands if you're looking at me.
Okay, knuckles are reaching for the ceiling. Now, you might be able to do this if you have flexible shoulders and a strong back. If not, that's okay. Your hands can even be resting on your back. We are going to rise back up. Try to extend the spine. Strong legs with bent knees. Hinge your way back up. Release the fingers, re-extend the arms. Right here, back to our star shape. Inhale, reach out. We're going to the fourth version. Exhale, hands to hips again. Alrighty? Push pelvis down. Feel like the torso is lifting. Inhale, tip chin up, open the heart. Exhale, engage your belly, bend the knees, and slowly fold, because you're going to release the hips. Take the hands out, make peace fingers with each hand. Lift the toes, because you're going to hook those peace fingers around the big toes here as best as you can. And once you're there, inhale, re-extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Now, if you're down here but aren't able to catch the toes, you can just hold on to the backs of your legs with your hands. So this is the fourth version of our wide-legged forward fold. Ready for that squat? Release the toes, hands on the floor, soften. We're going to turn the right foot away. Shift weight into the right foot, bend the right knee, lunge. Sink into that squat. We're going to spin that left leg so the toes point up. My left hand's behind this left leg for a little balance so I can get into the stretch here. This is a deep stretch. One more breath in and out. All right, I'm going to get my hands in front here, but stay low to the ground as I shift, okay, over to the left foot. Okay, nice leg and hip work. Facing forward with the toes. Hands in front, rise up on the tiptoes behind you. Runner's lunge, but set the right knee onto the floor. Then sit back. There's our half hero, leg extension. And maybe we've found a little bit more space, and you can fold a little deeper. Yes. Two more breaths. All right, we're coming back up. Use the hands. Come back up to your right knee and left foot. Hands out front. Tuck the toes. Lift the right knee. There's our runner's lunge. Slide the left foot back. There's plank pose. And that's the end. So let's just finish with chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's return to the earth. So you might hop forward, cross your legs, take a seat, and then roll down onto your back. Feel free to hug your knees into chest. Take some deep breaths. There was a lot of movement. So I told you, a nice dynamic flow. Really getting into our legs with all those postures. Let's take a hip opener here, perhaps happy baby pose. So take the legs wide, kick the feet up into the air, grabbing hold of the soles of the feet perhaps. Something like this, or grab hold of the ankles, gently pressing down so that there's this feeling of sending the knees down towards the floor on either side of your body, but not forcefully. Just enough where you feel that stretch and release. A couple more breaths here. And then reclining cobbler's pose. We did the seated version. This is the lying down version. Bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to the feet with the hands. And with a little bit of effort, send your heels down towards the pelvis. And even push the knees or legs forward. And that kind of mimics that seated posture. Your back probably feels flat and long as you're lying on the ground. A couple more breaths. More things here, we'll be done. Let's release the feet, bring the knees together. Let's extend both legs into the air now. Hold on to the legs. You can certainly use your strap if you'd like to. Again, maybe the legs are straight up, creating this nice 90-degree angle, or they're forward with bent knees. All perfect. A couple more breaths.
And let's bend the knees, another hug of the knees into the chest. Let's take a twist. Let's take the knees over to the left side of the room. The right arm extends out to the right side here for a few breaths. Nice release. Really take advantage of this. Melt into the posture. Get reacquainted with your breathing. We're almost at Shavasana. We're going to spend a few moments in Shavasana. Whenever you feel complete on your first side for this twist, just slowly return to center. You might even pause here, and then take the knees to the other side. So knees to the right as your left arm extends to the left. Breaths. And when you're ready, bring the knees back up to center. One more hug. And now for Shavasana. Go ahead and extend the legs out front. Arms can just rest down by your side. Full release and relaxation here. Make some adjustments as you need to really settle into the pose. A nice full inhale, fill yourself up. Exhale completely. You've made it. Right here to this resting the moment. You're welcome to keep your eyes open and just gaze upward. Or close your eyes and move inward. Continue to feel your body disengage. Let go of those muscle engagements here. Relax, release. Allow yourself to melt into the earth. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, especially if you've established a very comfortable position. It's very restful and meditative. Then stay here, even as I end the practice, even as I come up to seated and close the class. You can stay just like this if you'd like. When you are ready to move, you don't have to move too quickly. Start with breath, perhaps. 5 slow breaths. These deep cleansing breaths, use them as a way to bring motion back into the body. Bring energy back into the body. A new energy. Feel renewed. And after that 5th breath, just moving as slowly as you can. Just bending my knees, setting the feet on the floor. Slowly rolling to one side. You can even pause here for a moment. Then press to slowly lift yourself up until you come to seated. If you have something to sit on, like a pillow, or a blanket, or a block, you can do that. Perhaps cross your legs. Sit up nice and tall. For a moment, just let your hands rest in your lap. Take a breath so you can feel the full extension of the spine. And then one more movement together. We'll inhale, extend the arms out and up. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Taking one more breath here. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.